Good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Cosette, or I should say first, according to this, welcome to the Piedmont Unitarian Universalist Church, Piedmont UU. It sits on the traditional lands of the Catawba, Kiwai, and Sugaree peoples. My name is Cosette Blackmer. My pronouns are she, her, and I am serving as the worship assistant. Let me take this off, please. Worship assistant this morning for our guest, lay speaker and member, Vanessa Sampson-Schneider. We are a flourishing, vibrant, and radically welcoming congregation which promotes diversity, inclusion, and social justice. We provide a safe haven for creative intellectual growth, spiritual development, and a deep sense of community for all who join us. We hope our liberal religious values will challenge you to join us as a community that lives boldly and acts justly. We have a couple of announcements this morning. Please join us on Saturday, I believe this is August the 5th, this coming Saturday, at the University Gathering for a celebration of Lammas, also known as Loaf Mass, sponsored by our local CUPS chapter, Covenant of Unitarian Universalist Pagans. Doors will be open at 1:45 in the afternoon, and the event will start at 2 p.m. Please invite friends and bring a percussion instrument if you have one. We will have a service project immediately after the University Gathering worship service next Sunday for Compassionate Closet, where we will sort and fold clothes. Lunch is provided for a small donation. And for our final announcement, I'd like to invite Gio up to talk about Charlotte Pride.
Woo! I got all dressed up just for this announcement. August the 19th and 20th, in about 3 weeks, we have the Charlotte Pride, and we're going to have a booth. We're not going to have be in the parade with a float this year, but we are going to have a booth and would like to get some help with staffing it on Saturday or Sunday. We do have a sign up, and it's in the back of on the back side of your bulletin, and if you have any questions about it this year, myself or Linda or Jack Smith, we're co-chairing this year. So please come and join us. We could use your help and your enthusiasm for PUUC.
And Charlotte Pride. Thank you, Gio. For any other important information about our vibrant community, please see your order of service, or also join our email list so you can receive our weekly announcements and monthly newsletters. As we begin our service, we ask that you please silence your phones. And whatever brought you to this place at this hour, we welcome you. May you find something that you need, and may you leave richer in spirit than when you arrived.
And now, our chalice lighting. So our opening words will be "With Love as My Guide" by Cindy Teresio. A view of the starry sky at night, straight up through the silhouette of trees around the edges, amidst the swirl of life's challenges, fears, and even moments of crisis. I make time to gaze at the night sky to see the vastness there, and to remember that this moment in time is but a flicker. Not an inconsequential flicker, for what I do and think now does matter. My work, though it is to let the debris of this world pass by while I anchor myself to what I know is true: love, kindness, compassion, and caring for this precious life, this precious planet, and all that calls this place home, This is my North Star. With love as my guide, how can I possibly go wrong? Now please join me in singing the words to lighting our chalice, the symbol of our faith. For this service, we will generously take clapping, shouts, amens, and blessed bees. So feel free however the Spirit moves you. So I invite you to please stand in body or in spirit for our call to worship. Now it is not in your order of service, but that's okay. You have a really simple part. I'm going to read, and then I'm going to put my finger up, and you're going to say, we speak the language of love. So let's try that.
We speak the language of love.
Cool beans. And then at the very end, though, I'm going to put up two fingers. So I lied. It's a little not simple. You're just going to say, speak the language of love. So two.
Speak the language of love.
Cool beans. All right. And so we arrive from many different experiences and backgrounds. Some of us have trouble speaking. Others are so young that they're still learning to talk. Some of us speak English as a second language, and others of us can speak several foreign languages. All of us share this in common.
We speak the language of love.
In the moments before worship begins, and again when we return to service of life, we greet one another with kind words. We chat about the days behind us and the days to come, and
we speak the language of love.
We lift our voices in song, not to sing perfectly or in tune, but to hear and feel our voices form a life-giving sound, and
we speak the language of love.
We form a web of compassionate listening when individuals among us embodying vulnerability name their fears that grip their hearts and joys that buoy their spirits.
We speak the language of love.
At times, our voices clash, we disagree. Tension enters our voices as we make room for different beliefs, different opinions, different perspectives. Through it all, it's our intention that
we speak the language of love.
in this congregation, we welcome a multiplicity of truths and invite them to be named out loud. We prophesy, summoning the age when justice and peace will be evident all around us, and
we speak the language of love.
let us worship together, make room for one another as whole beings, tender hearts, hungry spirits, and curious minds. With our actions and with our words, let us
speak the language of love.
Good job. And please remain standing as you are willing and able for our opening hymn, 131, Love Will Guide Us. Be seated. And now we have our story for all ages. So we're going to wait for some other young people to come on in. And then my niece is here today. Her name is London, like the city. You want to come up, London, and be able to sit up here on the floor? You can bring her if you want to. Good morning, little ones. Good morning, big ones.
Good morning.
And so today we're going to be reading a little book. If we can go to the front cover real quick. It is Love by Matt De La Pena. And it's going to be a really cool little book for us to take a look at today. But before I start, let's ask our Nice young people here. What does love mean to you?
Love means like you care about someone very, very much.
Awesome. I love that definition. Who do you care about very much?
My sister Lizzie.
Awesome. Good job. That's Lizzie. How about you, London? What does love mean to you?
Love means to me
Hugs, maybe?
hug,
Kindness.
kind to people and to others.
That's awesome. That is love. How about you, Lizzie? Who do you love? Uh-oh. She loves Dada and Mama? Yeah, awesome. And I'll even take some shouts from the audience. What does love mean to you?
Caring.
Being there, caring.
Caring, but not judging.
Caring but not judging. I love it. Being here. Awesome.
Being free.
Being free. I love it.
Caring for the planet.
Caring for the planet. That's a good one. How about you, Gio, since you're holding the book? Hugs. Well, let's get into it, you guys. And so in the beginning, there is light and two wide-eyed figures standing near the foot of your bed, and the sound of their voices is love. A cab driver plays love softly on his radio while you bounce in back of the bumps of the city, and everything smells new, and it smells like life. Love, too, is the smell of crashing waves and a train whistling blindly in the distance, and each night the sky above your trailer turns the color of love. In a crowded concrete park, you toddle toward some summer sprinkles while older kids skip rope and run up the slide, and soon you are running among them, and the echo of your laughter is love. On the night the fire alarm blares, you're pulled away from your sleep and whisked into the street where a quiet old lady is pointing to the sky. Stars shine long after they flamed out, she tells you, and the shine they shine is with love. But it is not only stars that flame out, you discover, it's summers too. I hate that. Yeah. And friendships and people. One day, you find your family nervously huddled around the TV, but when you ask what happened, they answer with silence and shift between you and the screen. In your dream that night, you are searching for a love that seems lost. You open and close drawers, lift cushions, empty old toy bins, but there's nothing. You wake with a start in the arms of a loved one who bends to your ear and whispers, "It's okay, it's okay, it's love." And in time, you learn to recognize a love overlooked, a love that wakes at dawn and rides to work on the bus, a slice of burnt toast that tastes like love. And it's love in each deep crease of your grandfather's face as he lowers himself into an overturned bucket to fish. And it's love in the rustling leaves and guarded trees lined with the flower fields. And it's love in the made-up stories your uncles tell in the backyard between wild horseshoe throws. And the man in rags outside the subway station plays love notes that lift into the sky like tiny beacons of light. And the face staring back in the bedroom or bathroom mirror, this too is love. So, when the time comes for you to set off on your own, heavy winds will sweep past your building, and great gray clouds will congregate above. Your loved ones will stand like puddles beneath their umbrellas, holding you tight and kissing you and wishing you luck. But it won't be luck you'll leave with, because you'll have love. You'll have love, love, love. This is our time of ritual and sacred sharing, a time for sharing our joys and sorrows and concerns and milestones. First this week, we light a candle for Robin and Neil Mara, who recently celebrated their son's nuptials. For Gio's wife, Becca, who's recently been in the hospital. Connie, with the recent passing of her sister. For Scott Heimerlich, after experiencing a mild stroke, and we pray for his healing. The ongoing struggle for civil rights in Iran, and all areas of violence around the world, especially Sudan and the war in Ukraine. At this time, you are all welcome to come up and fill out a prayer card, drop a stone in our shared water, or light your own candle of joy or concern. Come on up. And we light a few more candles for those things we hold in our hearts that remain unspoken, and for those joining us from elsewhere to honor what is in their hearts as well. I invite you now into a time of quiet rest, meditation, or prayer as we follow the sound of the singing bowl into the silence. After a moment of silence, we will have a musical meditation.
Today's wisdom reading is an excerpt from Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s fourth book titled, Where Do We Go From Here? Chaos or Community? I'm concerned about a better world. I'm concerned about justice. I'm concerned about brotherhood and sisterhood. I'm concerned about truth. And when one is concerned about that, he can never advocate violence. For through violence, you may murder a murderer, but you can't murder. Through violence, you may murder a liar, but you can't establish truth. Through violence, you may murder a hater, but you can't hate through violence. Darkness cannot put out darkness. Only light can do that. And I say to you, I have also decided to stick with love. For I know that love is ultimately the only answer to humankind's problems. And I'm going to talk about it everywhere I go. I know it isn't popular to talk about it in some circles today, and I'm not talking about some emotional bosh when I talk about love. I'm talking about a strong, demanding love, for I have seen too much hate. And I say to myself that hate is too great a burden to bear. I have decided to love. If you are seeking the highest good, I think you can find it through love. And the beautiful thing is that we aren't moving wrong when we do it, because John was right. God is love. He who hates does not know God, but he who loves has the key that unlocks the door to meaning and ultimate reality. And I say to you today, my friends, that you may be able to speak with tongues of men and angels. You may have eloquence of articulate speech, but if you have not love, it means nothing. Yes, you may have the gift of prophecy. You may have the gift of scientific prediction and understanding the behavior of molecules. You may break into the storehouse of nature and bring forth many new insights. Yes, you may ascend to the highest academic achievement so that you have all knowledge, and you may boast of your great institutions of learning and the boundless extent of your degrees. But if you have not love, all of these mean absolutely nothing. You may even give your goods to feed the poor. You may bestow great gifts to charity, and you may tower high in philanthropy. But if you have not love, your charity means nothing. You may even give your body to be burned and die the death of a martyr, and your spilt blood may be a symbol to honor generations yet unborn, and thousands may praise you as one of history's greatest heroes. But if you have not love, your blood was spilt in vain. What I am trying to get you to see this morning is that a man may be self-centered in his self-denial and self-righteous in his self-sacrifice. His generosity may feed his ego, and his piety may only feed his pride. So without love, benevolence becomes egotism, and martyrdom becomes spiritual pride.
I love some good MLK. And so, in 1 Corinthians chapters 1 through 13, which I'm not going to read all of, Jesus teaches the following about the power of love. If I speak in tongues of men and of angels, but have not love, I am but a noisy gong or clanging cymbal. And if I have prophetic powers and understand all mysteries and all knowledge, and if I have all faith so as to remove mountains, but have not love, I am nothing. If I give away all I have, and if I deliver up my body to be burned, but have not love, I gain nothing. Love is patient. Love is kind. Love does not envy or boast. It is not arrogant or rude. It does not insist on its own way. It is not irritable or resentful. It does not rejoice at wrongdoing, but rejoices with the truth. Love bears all things, believes all things, hopes all things, and endures all things. Love never ends. As for prophecies, they will pass away. As for tongues, they will cease. As for knowledge, it will pass away. For we know in part and we prophesy in part, but when perfect comes, the partial will pass away. And Jesus goes on to say, so now faith, hope, and love abide, these three, but the greatest of these is love. Now, that probably sounds familiar to you from what cassette, right? All right. And so that is the basis of MLK's section there in that fourth book that he wrote. It was the book that he actually wrote and came out right before his assassination. And so I feel like it is still pressing even in these times. So indeed, indeed. And so now Jesus identifies love as the most important and greatest act that we as humans can carry out. Faith can be fleeting, hope ebbs and flows, but love is omnipresent. Love is endless. Love continues to guide those left behind even when you're no longer here to physically engage in it. So as the late, great Tina Turner said, what's love got to do with it? Well, I went digging around, and this is what I found. I'm going to hit you with some Webster's Dictionary. The definition of love reads as follows. Love, noun. 1A1. A strong affection for another arising out of kinship or personal ties. 1A2. Attraction based on sexual desire, affection, or tenderness felt by lovers. And then 1A3. Affection based on admiration, benevolence, or common interest. So here I am reading through these definitions of love, and I don't like any of them. They are narrow and limited in their context.
That's it? That's all there were?
Those were the first ones that there were. They focus on relationships where it was a prominent or obvious connection already present. So I was thinking, come on, Webster, we can do better than this. And that is when I read definition 4A. So it went through a whole bunch of definitions, and then we finally got somewhere. It is unselfish, loyal, and benevolent concern for the good of another. That's when I said aloud to my husband, now we're getting somewhere. Did you know that there are actually 8 different types of love? No? Yes, I see some people saying. That's okay, I'm going to do it for you. So there is philatia, which is self-love. Pragma is the love that lasts. Mania consists of an all-consumer, stalking type love. Eros, the love that we are most familiar with, is that romantic love. Philia describes the love between friends. Storge encompasses familial love, while ludus is a playful love. And finally, there is agape. Agape is the love that one has for humanity. So here we have it, love for all different occasions and a variety of persuasions. But today, we'll focus on agape love. So agape is what Jesus encourages all to aspire to. Agape is the love we have for the roughly 7.98 billion human souls aboard this beauty of an earth that's hurling through space at 67,000 miles per hour. Okay? Love and compassion for all, including those that will never cross paths with you, including those that disagree with you, including those that on the surface appear to be incapable of giving or receiving love and compassion. Most UUs are familiar with the 7 principles, but many don't know or understand that the foundation of the 7 principles is our sources of living tradition. There are 6 of them. And I'm going to read them because what I find is that a lot of UUs do not know the 6 sources. I'm always amazed. And so just follow me because there is a method to the madness, all right? So number 1 is the direct experience of that transcending mystery and wonder affirmed in all cultures, which moves us to a renewal of the spirit and an openness to the forces which create and uphold life. I actually have that one tattooed on my body. Number 2, it's a long word. I just have the transcending mystery and wonder. It's not the whole thing. So I'll have my whole back. And so number 2, words and deeds of prophetic people, which challenge us to confront powers and structures of evil with justice, compassion, and transforming power of love. 3, wisdom from the world's religions that inspire us in our ethical and spiritual life. 4, hint, hint, Jewish and Christian teachings which call us to respond to God's love by loving our neighbors as we love ourselves. 5, humanist teachings which counsel us to heed the guidance of reason and the results of science and warn us against idolatries of mind and spirit. And then 6, spiritual teachings of earth-centered traditions which celebrate the sacred circle of life and instruct us to live in harmony with the rhythms of nature. So as you probably already deduced in the fact that I did a hint, hint, we'll let you know that source number 4 is all about agape love. Look, I understand that there are a lot of you youths who particularly don't care for Judeo-Christian teachings, but remember, we are Unitarian Universalists. Unitarianism dates back to the 16th century and was founded by Frederick David, and he created the church known as Unitarian Church of Transylvania. So we were actually founded in Transylvania. A lot of people don't know that one either.
Vampires in our blood.
Yeah, we got some vampire in our UU blood. And so the Unitarian side of our faith only joined with Universalists in 1961. Y'all, that is a whopping 62 years ago. So Judaism and Christianity are in our faith's DNA. They are literally at our foundation. But I digress. People often boast that they have love for all until it's time to show love to those they do not have a direct relationship with or that they're not in community with. There may be some of you that are adamant that what I'm saying does not apply to you. Well, I'm going to burst your bubble, because it does. Even as I give this sermon, I know it applies to me too. Recall that time that you avoided eye contact with that unhoused person holding the sign, and you tried to look busy until the light turned green? What about the moment you let that door close on that differently abled person because you were late and in a rush? Or maybe there was even a time when you felt the need to defend improper policing or minimize experiences of a person of color because you felt that you could not relate to their experiences because you were not directly affected. There may have even been a time where you gave your gifts, your talents, your love to another with the expectation of reciprocity and praise and received none. As my wonderful mother, who is actually here today, always taught me, you do not give what you cannot afford to part with. If you give away $5, there should be no expectation that that person can pay you back. You give because you want to. This includes love of the unconditional type. As Dr. King expressed in his writings, without love, benevolence becomes egotism and martyrdom becomes spiritual pride. In essence, your love must come from a place of deep care, concern, and compassion. We must love others as we would love ourselves, deeply, intentionally, and without hesitation. So the question is, how do we express the love that we each hold inside ourselves, just ready to break free, to give all to humankind? How many of you have heard of the 5 love languages? Got a couple hands. I got 2 hands? The 5 love languages. Who's heard of this before?
5 languages of love.
Yeah, 5 languages of love. Yeah. Do you tell me?
It's a book.
What is it?
Well, it's about expressing love between partners, whether they're married or they're just living together. That's my understanding.
Okay.
And that some people understand love differently. Like they like touching. Other people don't like touching.
Nice.
Some people like gifts. Some people like compliments.
Yeah.
People. So you should be sensitive to how the other person is you're expressing your love to. That it's something that they care about. You have to be in tune with them.
I love it. That's such a good example. Why am I even up here? What? So it's nice to know that you definitely have heard of the 5 love languages. So in short, the 5 love languages are the 5 ways in which we show love to and receive love from others. The 5 Love Languages was created by Gary Chapman to assist with strengthening love within couples. But what we found over time is that it actually can be expanded to friends, family, coworkers, and even strangers. The 5 love languages are as follows. You have words of affirmation. This is how we encourage, affirm, appreciate, and engage in active listening. We have physical touch, which is nonverbal use of body language or touch to emphasize love, attention, and care. We have receiving gifts, which is providing something tangible that that person can actually utilize or at least admire. Quality time is uninterrupted, focused one-on-one time. You'd be surprised how hard it is to do. And then acts of service, completing tasks for others that allow them to focus on other tasks or even self-care. So, we talked a lot about agape love and what that means and how we must love others in order to be able to sometimes even love ourselves. And then we talked about the 5 love languages. And you're like, how do those connect? Well, I challenge each of you to identify an action that you can carry out over the next month or two, using one or even a few of the 5 love languages. And I provided a couple of ideas. I actually printed out the 5 love languages. So you can't see it from up here. They're in the back, so that's okay. So I have the love language, how to communicate it, and then some actions that you can take as you use to be able to spread that love into the community to people who we might not necessarily cross paths with. Some of these are the types of things that we can do where you might not ever meet who you actually are affecting. Some of these you might meet the person and have a long-term thing as far as being able to have a good foundation to a relationship. So I encourage you to do this. I provided a few ideas on this. They're in the back of the sanctuary, and you can team up, or if you like to go it alone and that's more of your jam, do it. And so be not afraid of giving love to one another. Be not afraid of giving love to a stranger. And I look forward to hearing all that you create, because I know it's going to be something special out there in the wild. And so as you do the work of our faith, keep in mind that love is our greatest commandment of all.
Amen. Are you giving us your email so we can write you how we're doing?
Oh, I can.
You said you wanted to. She's in the directory.
I'm in the directory too, because I'm a member. So whichever way you would like to find me is fine. But I'm available. You can even pull me over at church one day and be like, here we go. And so I'm so glad to have been able to do that for everyone today. And I thank you so much for allowing me to be able to give that sermon here. I hope that you benefited from it. And now is a time for giving. You want to do this part?
Yeah, and we have special music first.
Oh, we do.
She's jumping ahead. She's just jumping ahead a little. She's excited. This is a good song. Thank you, Ann. That's a gorgeous arrangement. Well done. Someone said, it's amazing. All right. Now, let there be an offering to sustain and strengthen this place, which is sacred to so many of us. A community of memory and of hope and love. For we now are the keepers of the dream. This month, we are sharing our offering plate with NC Warn, Worker Adjustment and Retraining Notification. NC Warn is a 35-year-old nonprofit organization tackling the accelerating crisis posed by climate change by guiding people, by building people power for a swift North Carolina transition to clean power, and by promoting energy and climate justice. We ask that you place your gift in the baskets as they make their way around the room, and you are always welcome to give online at puuc.org or by texting PUUC at the number 73256. Today's offering will now gratefully be received.
As always, we thank you for the gifts contained within these baskets and for all the gifts you offer this beloved community. And we thank you most for your gift of your presence, whether in person or joining virtually. And let us now stand as you are willing or able for our closing hymn, number 1014 in your, was that Teal hymn? Okay. Answering the Call of Love. And so in the book, it says standing on the side of love. Wherever you see standing on the side of love, it's going to be answering the call of love.
All right.
Okay? Sometimes people get confused. It's okay. You better light up that piano. You better. Yes, ma'am. All right. So, before we extinguish our chalice, we offer thanks to all the many volunteers who helped make this worship service possible. I thank Cosette for her patience with me. I thank you for that wonderful, wonderful piano playing. And I thank you for the folks who jumped up and did the after service coffee and all that today. We didn't have anyone. They were like, no, we will do it. So on time. And so we also would ask before you leave to please place your hymnals back on the cart near the piano. And then let us take a moment to give thanks, either in our hearts or with words out into the community for things that which we are thankful for today.
My little brother.
All right. Who else?
Thankful for the community.
Community. Thankful for my mom and my niece and my husband for coming here today and actually listening to me again. So.
Thankful for a great volunteer speaker today.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Vanessa.
Anybody else?
Thankful for coffee.
Thankful for coffee as he rolls it out. Let's give a hand for David. Huh? Brian. I'm sorry, Brian. You know what I meant.
Yeah.
David's here. Brian. And
Thankful
so,
for being surrounded by love.
Amen.
for sure. Thank you so much for that. And so now we will have our closing blessing. And it's Let Us Begin Again in Love by Lois Van Leer. So having let go, set our intentions, named our curiosity, committed our energies, and given ourselves over to lives of balance, purpose, and meaning, let us begin again in love. We now extinguish this chalice, but we carry its light, its warmth, and its meaning with us until we meet again. May we go in peace, believe in peace, create peace, wherever we may wander. May it be so. Namaste. Blessed be.
Blessed be.
Go now in peace.
May I express my